Our conversation with Sam Slaton is brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people, and he is indeed. Sam Slaton on the line with us right now. We're going to talk about sports betting, and it is headed for a record month. Sam is an expert on gambling addictions. He is the CEO of the Santai Center for Healing. Sam, tell me about that. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on. Yes, we're an addictions treatment facility here just north of Dallas, Texas. We specialize in all addictions, so substance addictions as well as behavioral process addictions such as gambling. And we've just, as the prevalence of online gambling continues to increase and people continue to have 24/7 access, we're just seeing a lot more people struggling with gambling addiction and a lot of co-occurring mental health issues that go along with that, anxiety, depression, co-occurring substance abuse as well.
And we see it, now, I bet you if you went back 5 years ago and you showed one of today's broadcasts to somebody 5 years ago, and they'd see all of the gambling commercials that are on, they would see how much it has changed the way we even define sports, let alone regard sports. It would be shocking. This has been really quick coming on. It's not that there hasn't been gambling all along in sports, but this seems to have reached into more of the general public, and inviting more people in is also inviting more trouble, isn't it?
I think so, and you're seeing more and more states legalize online gambling, and so we have to look at it from an addiction standpoint, and secrets keep us sick. And so the ability to access gambling sites online from your phone, you're going to have 24/7 access. And the misnomer is that it's just during football season or March Madness. But you truly can gamble on anything. And these online sites aren't dealing with someone's emotions or their well-being. They're just taking transactions down. And so the access is just extremely, detrimental for some people who struggle with addiction and struggle with impulsivity. So people can moderate and gamble in moderation, but for some people who are predisposed to addiction or have a history of trauma or other environmental factors that make them more prevalent to be prone to addiction, the access is just pretty alarming.
I would not be surprised to know. I love James Holzhauer from Jeopardy, but when he revealed that he makes his living by gambling, and he was such a likable guy on Jeopardy for all those months, that probably opened the eyes of a whole bunch of people that we sort of wish that they didn't know about these sorts of things, because it seems that in the last 18 months or so, it has really taken over the entire sports landscape, and the ability for people to gamble at the drop of a hat, at the stroke of a key on their phone, it can be a really dangerous thing, can it not?
Absolutely. I think what we're seeing now is a wave of the stigma of gambling being broken down, where it's now more mainstream. It's not taboo. You're not taking a trip to Vegas. You're not finding an illegal sports book somewhere. It's on your phone. It's completely legal. And so we know almost everyone has a phone. That means almost everyone has access to gambling. And so it really becomes that slippery slope of manageability. And what we find in addiction is that it's such a quick, downturn that people aren't going to be able to stop on your own. They're not going to be able to hit that next bet to get themselves out of the hole. It really takes, intervention from support systems, you see a lot of media advertising now on getting help for gambling addiction. But someone being able to, reduce any shame or anxiety or guilt they have and calling to ask for help is really important.
I know a group of college students who live together here in our town who are very much into it, and it has become an obsession with them. For young people and the physical development of their brains and the emotional development and the ability to insulate yourself against some of the potential dangers out there. This can be really, really dangerous.
Definitely. And so much like alcohol or a drug addiction, the effects of gambling addiction on the brain are very prevalent. You're truly disrupting the brain circuitry in the prefrontal cortex. So that's diminishing your ability for impulse control. It's also disrupting the brain's reward system. So regular life pleasures no longer bring those same pleasures. And so with all addiction, you're seeking the next high. And so the access and the myriad of different types of betting that you can do, parlaying one sport against another sport, the bets are endless. And so it can be very dangerous for people that are caught in that addictive pattern of gambling.
So we can see this becoming a more and increasing problem, and that being the case, there has to be an ongoing search for solutions as well. Sam, what is it? Is it government regulation? Is it some sort of behavioral limitation that we can place on people? What is the answer to finding ourselves out of this big jungle of a mess before we get into it?
Yeah, I don't think that we're going to be able to stop the legalization of gambling, and just so much as we don't stop, the legalization of alcohol sales. But it really is about putting social awareness out there, making it more known to people that there is access for help, and that it simply takes a call or a web search. Letting friends and family know. The more people that know that there's support out there, the more people that are out there to help those that are struggling.
When we find people who have gotten themselves in deep financial trouble, and we see the effect it's having on them and on their families, that whole recovery thing is not a one-step process, is it?
It's definitely not. And I do think the compounding factor here with gambling addiction is that so many times it goes hand in hand with substance abuse or co-occurring mental health issues that gambling tries to mask. You try to mask anxiety, you try to mask depression, and trying to mask the stressors of general life through chasing these gambling highs. And so it really is just a compounding factor of how this component added to our society now, more prevalent than ever, truly just shows that recovery is not a light switch fix. Recovery is a lifelong battle.
And the convenience of it is especially scary because there's always another sport being played. There's always games within games. And when we make it so accessible as it is now, then that can really spiral downward quickly.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So, Sam, I wanted you to give me some hope here this morning. But
well, there's hope. There's hope. You can reach out and ask for help, or those who see it around their loved ones, call on their behalf. And again, addiction is going to be a progressive and pervasive disease, and we have to battle it one day at a time.
Tell me about the Sante Center. What do you do?
We are an adult residential addictions treatment facility here just north of Dallas, Texas, and we offer kind of a 2 to 3 year recovery package all the way from medical detox for those with substance abuse issues down to a transitional living program. So it really is a long-term recovery plan that we have here.
Yeah, it's interesting. As we have been talking here this morning, Dr. Ralph May just walked by the window. He's our mental health expert on hand who comes in and talks to us about addictions, about behaviors, and about things such as, seasonal affective disorder, COVID frights and fears. And so to have him walk by just at this moment really points out the fact that there is help available through organizations such as yours, through a good gentleman such as Dr. Ralph. Help is out there for folks, and it's not all that hard to find. Sam, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, too. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. AM